Okay, so let me try to show you about the pattern of COVID-19 in Ethiopia. So two indicators. One is positivity rate, which is measured as a ratio of new cases identified divided by total number of tests conducted in the last 24 hours. So if you see here, in March 15, a total of 117 cases were tested in the last 24 hours, and 4 of them were found to be positive. So the positivity rate is 3.4%. And at the bottom, you see here a cumulative number that shows total number of days attributed to COVID-19. And this indicator is, we have to be careful in terms of interpreting this indicator, is total number of captured days due to COVID-19. I anticipate a huge number of cases probably recently the system may not capture, but this is what is captured. So I'm going to play around some visualization on these indicators, and I hope you will enjoy about how the pattern looks like for the last 1 year in Ethiopia. This is a national figure obtained from EPHI and Federal Ministry of Health different reporters. And on behalf of DHA, I've prepared this slide. I hope it will give you an idea how the pattern looks like in the last 1 year. And I will have some talking pointers as see some significant ups and downs when this video plays. So let me play this one. So as you see here, it's moving. At the bottom, the positivity rate is ranging between 3, 6%, 8%, etc. And at the bottom, you will see that the number of days accumulated is 1, 2, 5, etc. It's peaking. So this time period, as you see here, from March to April 1, this is the data that I populate today, March 29 data. And as you see, the positivity rate is more or less very small, and the number of cases in the denominator is picking up from 100 cases in the beginning. Now it's moving up to 2,000, 2008, 1,000, and so on. And when you interpret this figure, you have to make sure that the number of cases tested in the last 24 hours varies substantially. So we have to stick to the positivity rate for interpreting the numbers. So as you see at the bottom, the number of days is still constant. Total number of days is being constant. As you see, it's adding up, which is cumulative, is reaching 11, 12, 14, etc. So we are in June. In June, the positivity rate is below 5%, as different reports shows, but the number of days is peaking now to 50, 57, 60, etc. Interesting observation that I have is in June and July, the number of tested cases is about 5,000. As you see, in July, it's 5,000. And in August, as you may realize from different reports, Federal Ministry of Health and DPHA have capacitated the staffs and all the resources were available, and the number of tests boomed to more than 10,000. We'll get those figures soon. So we still have a relatively constant number of days since the beginning, with a minimum incline so far. Now it's reaching to 253, 263, and so on in August. And 8,000, 7,000, 9,000 tests were conducted in the last 24 hours. So you can see that the positivity rate is picking up, but still less than 10%. So if we talk about community COVID, at this point in time, early September, one can say that the 10 out of 100 may be found to be positive. And the number of days is now inclined in a steep direction, reaching to 1,000 total days between September and October. Still, the positivity rate is below 10%. Then this can tell us that to have a peak in the positivity rate, which is relatively not as sharp as the number of days, and number of days is peaking quickly. So beginning October and November, we have realized that the positivity rate started to reach more than 10%, somewhere about 11%, 14% when we approach to November, and the number of days is moving upwards. Speaking, You have to be careful that tracing, contact tracing, isolation, etc. are the different activities, and from the different activities, I would say that in the last 24 hours, test varies substantially, and one has to be careful that the number of tests over time varies depending on the denominator that you see in this diagram. So in December, January, we have relatively stable positivity figures, and some months or in some dates we do have peaks. Here about 15%, and here probably 10%, etc., etc. And beginning December, and our test for COVID in the last 24 hours declined, and in January, probably near to February, the total number of days is getting closer to 2,000 captured days. So January, so one has to understand also about the different events that happened in Ethiopia, like holidays, gatherings. In Ethiopia, holidays are usually accustomed with different marketing exercise and so on, gatherings and so on. And as you know, COVID is heavily related to contacts, and also the different transactions that we do outside in the market is also one circumstance. For instance, you can see January and February following Christmas are big holidays, and also in September we have also big holidays, New Year. Probably this might have contributed to the high incline in the positivity rate. So as we are approaching to March, the total number of days exceeds 2,000, reaching to 2,500 now, and the positivity rate is substantially moving upwards to 18%, 17%, and so on. Remember, this is national. The story for Addis might be different, but I'm just showing you what it looks like in national. So, standing today, the positivity rate is above 20%. And it's about 26 the maximum, and now it's about 25%. So 2,700 days were registered, and now out of the 7,840 tests that occurred yesterday, 1,982 were found to be positive, which is 25%. So 1 out of 4 roughly tested cases are positive. So this is a good example to show you about the trend of COVID-19 over time, and epidemiologists and public health experts can have a good interpretation based on these findings. Thank you very much.